Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos with respect to information, inspiration, education, guidance, and tonight I am, at the time of this recording, a few nights ago was Kristallnacht, that night in November of 1939 when the Nazi Party unleashed its goons to burn down synagogues, break store windows, assault people, kill people. A terrible, terrible time in our history. I wish I could say that this was an isolated incident. It's not. In the Haggadah, it says, the Passover Haggadah, it says, in every generation there are those who rise up against us to kill us. But the Holy One, blessed be He, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, saves us from His hand. The question I have is, why are our arch enemies so incredibly cruel, so unbelievably heartless and vicious in their hatred of us? Throughout history, Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, the dark days of the Catholic Church, the Inquisition, Cossacks, Nazis, Islamic extremists. They hate us with such a burning passion. How does God, how does he manage this? It's almost inhuman. A parable is told, and some of the greatest parables are told by the Dubner Maggid, the Maggid of Dubno. And he gives a parable of a king whose son was very ill. He was dying. And he had physicians on retainer, but this was a desperate situation. And then there was one physician that he knew who could do miracles. His treatments were very radical, and this looked like a situation where desperate times called for desperate measures. So he called this physician. The physician comes, looks at the boy, examines him, and he says, I will cure your son, but I will do it on two conditions. The first condition is that you, your majesty, not interfere. You will not interrupt the treatment in any way. You can't be involved, because if you do, it won't work. Second condition, all of your courtiers, all of the people in the castle, they can't interfere. They can't get involved. What could the king do? He had to agree. The physician clears everybody out. And he calls up from the castle dungeon the most cruel, sick, hard-hearted, sadistic person from the depths of the dungeon, brings him up, and has the dungeon master administer the remedy, because he knew that the boy's cries and screams and pleas and his begging and groveling will fall on deaf ears. He will do what he's told without a shred of sympathy. So they administer the treatment. And the boy's screams were indescribable. This went on for days and days. And no matter what the boy did, crying out for mercy, crying out to his father, crying out to everyone, there was no one to help him. But after a few weeks of this horrible treatment, the boy got better. The boy was he was saved. As cruel as the treatment was, it saved the boy. He was like his old self again. The king thanked the physician, thanked the dungeon master for their work and saving their son. As they were leaving the castle, outside the castle, the dungeon master was bragging. I went, oh, the king is. I'm an instrument of the king. Everything is. He likes what I was doing, and I did a really great job. And the physician said to the dungeon master, the reason he chose you, the reason I chose you, was because of your cruel-heartedness, your sadistic cruelty. It's not because this isn't a compliment. The reason why you were chosen, it's nothing to be proud of. So too, as the parable goes, sometimes the Jewish people, as God's son, God's firstborn son, he sends us punishments. He sends us horrible atrocities. And it seems that the instrument of these cruel times in our history, the archenemies are impossibly vicious. One of the reasons why is that they're chosen because of their cold-heartedness, because of their cruelty, because of their viciousness. It's not a compliment. Sure, they are acting as instruments of God, but it's not because they're nice guys. It's because they're cruel and heartless. It's not a compliment. May evil decrees against us be set aside. May we soon see the final redemption. May we soon hear the first echoes of the first footfalls of the arrival of Mashiach. And until then, I will keep making these videos. Until then, until next time, we're going to be doing more videos. On behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.